recruiting operations here with human bees. What we're going to do here today is give you guys a final look into what you can expect out on the job site. Okay? Some of the roles that you may be asked to do while you're at the facilities, and give you a real good idea of what's expected of you, what you can and cannot do to get in the facility, so that you not get turned around at the door as well. After this, you should have a real good idea of, okay, I can see myself doing this, or no, this may not be for me. Either way, we're okay. If you're looking to move forward, we'll get your fingerprints done today in the system, so we can track your time, get you paid correctly. And then this is really the final step, so we can look to validate your boots. I see boots, what have you, we get those validated today, and then start talking about scheduling and getting you on the roster for shifts here moving forward. Got it? We'll try to get through this as quickly as possible, and then we'll have time for questions at the end. This is a brief video. Good. I get it to work. We'll watch a great video. This is FedEx's, what they call their World Hub. It's back in their corporate office in Memphis, Tennessee. This is their flagship facility. It's a lot more automated than what we have here at LAX. Less automation just means they need more hands to do the work, which is great for all of us. So where you're going to see robotic arms pushing freight off of conveyor belts, we are actually pushing and pulling that freight off the conveyor belts, as well as a number of other positions inside the facility. But this will give you a good idea as to what a sort facility looks like and what goes on.
Right now we're in the Memphis World Hub. The complex is huge. It's like a small city. It's over 880 acres. We have parking for in excess of 165 aircraft. We'll do about 150 flights in and out every night. We'll do about 90 during the day. We have the capacity here in the hub to land an aircraft about every 40 seconds. From the hours of 10 o'clock at night till about 4 in the morning. This is the busiest airport in the world.
We've got two sorts. The day sort averages anywhere from 500 to 600,000 packages. Then, of course, we've got our huge night sort. And at night, we average over 1.3 million packages.
Throughout the hub, we have over 80 miles of conveyor belt. And working the sorts, we have 10,000 people. The action is amazing. Once a plane lands at the hub, we immediately begin to offload it. The size of these aircraft, they're enormous, with thousands and thousands of packages on each one. And within half an hour, we have it into the belt system.
Once it gets on that conveyor belt system, we've got a team there that makes sure the label is facing up, where it can be read by one of our light scanners.
We capture all the information that's embedded in that barcode about that package. So exactly where it's going, we're going to grab the dimensions of that package, the weight of that package.
Once that package leaves that light curtain, there are arms that automatically push the package to the correct destination, where we've got team members ready to reload it and put it back into a container. We've also got our small package sort system. That's where all of your letters, your small boxes are sent. Once the labels are faced up, it's put on a conveyor belt. It reaches a point where it hits a tray. It also goes to one of our scanners. Once it goes to one of our scanners, based upon the location that it's going to, that tray drops it into its correct bag. Your package will come into the hub and back out within 15 minutes.
Because of FedEx, these days we expect we do a one-click order online, it's in our house the next day. But it's not magic. We have an army of people, we have all this technology that comes together to make that transaction seamless.
When you're standing in the hub and you're looking down, it's an out-of-world experience. It's a sci-fi movie.
Just to think that you can stand and see a million of anything fly by you, it's just cool.
Being a part of the Memphis Hub is an awesome experience. At the end of the shift, when I see planes take off, there's this sense of pride that makes me feel as if I've done something wonderful.
All right. So that is a normal day. During peak season, which is around the holiday, it ramps up to about 3 times as much volume in each facility. So FedEx is one of the largest packaging companies in the world. LAX is one of the top 10 largest with regards to volume of freight that comes through the facility. So normally during peak season is now, this week. It's normally the week following Thanksgiving. You got Black Friday, you got Cyber Monday. Everyone starts to do their holiday shopping. And then FedEx usually sees the volume of freight triple through their facilities throughout the end of the year, okay? This year, because of COVID, companies have been doing online sales throughout October and November. So we've been asked for staff over the past 4 weeks already because they've been seeing peak levels come through the facility. So it's busy, it's expected to get even busier. And on top of that, we got notified that FedEx is the major distribution source for the coronavirus vaccine if and when that gets approved in the US. So it could get even busier on top of that. So what are some of the facilities that you may be working at? So we staff for 3 facilities. Most of the work is done at 2. Here's our main facility, right down the road here, airport adjacent. Down Sepulveda, make a right on Imperial Highway. Your first left is Hughes, which is right about here. There's a frontage road you come in on. There's a big FedEx sign that says go to the right. You'll come in here. Actually looks like this. There's Hughes. Come to the right. This is the Nash Street exit off the 105. Okay, so you get off on Nash, make a right, come in this street here. This is all FedEx parking, this whole green area here. Okay? Let's go right there. Thank you, appreciate it, Brenda.
Yeah.
There's a little kiosk there, guard check, 2 arms in and out. Okay, usually during the 3 p.m. sort, they leave the gates up because security doesn't want to hear 250 buzzes on the call box. If the gate is down, you roll up. They'll ask, who's your manager? You just let them know you're with Human Bees here for the peak sort. They'll open up the gate and let you through. Okay? For the later shifts, 6:30, 8 o'clock, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., graveyard shifts, this thing gets packed. So they may send you straight over to the overflow area. Okay? Overflow is right behind. It's a gated area, fence, but it's open. It says FedEx parking in there. You can park anywhere in there as well. It has been getting packed, and they have been sending people over to the overflow area to park, especially on the later shifts. There's a Mercury cargo gate right here. You park in there. Chances are you will be towed. Any of these areas out here, those are other companies' loading docks. If you park in there, you're probably not going to have a car when you come out. It's going to get towed. Okay, and if you park out in front of any of these bays as well, your car will be towed. So, at any given day, we'll have anywhere between 80 and 120 people on a shift at this facility. That's not including FedEx full-time employees. Okay? So we got to get all those people through that little door. That's the fun. Okay? Typically, in most years, we line up on this ramp here. We can line up 2 by 2, get nice and cozy. We could fit 50, 60 people on that ramp. This year, because of COVID, they got tape every 6 feet. Have to maintain social distancing, and so we would back up all the way out over here. As you can see, there's a car there, and during shift times, there's trucks moving in and out. I want to make sure you all can get a chance to get into the facility without getting hit. Okay? So we've been staging out here. This is the outdoor lunch area. Smoking area is over here. You'll see us there in our Human Bees shirt. You'll come up. We will have the roster. That roster we have to send over to security 2 hours before the shift so that they have it and they can badge you in. But you'll check in with us. They have been sending security out to us. Previously, we'd have to go in and get badged. because we've had so many people, they've been sending security out to us, and we're actually badging people in the parking lot. You will get badged each day. Okay, they will ask for your government-issued photo ID. We'll talk about that here in a second. Because the building has access to the runways, it is governed by the TSA. Although this is the cargo area, it's still part of the airport. Okay, so we cannot be unescorted inside the facility. Okay, our background checks let us get in the facility, but we cannot be unescorted inside the facility. So after we badged in, FedEx leads come out, and the manager will start to assign people to leads. Okay, they usually take the folks that have been on shifts previously. Leads want to get those folks back because they understand what's going on in each section, and then they fill people in from there. Okay, so your first day, it may be a bit of a process, right? You kind of feel like the last person picked. Don't feel that way. It's not you. They don't know you, right? They're taking some of those folks that they've already worked with, getting them into those groups, and then filling people in as they go. Okay, but they will come out and grab people 5 to 10 at a time, depending on how big their group is. Take you in, take you through security, get you clocked in. You'll do a series of stretches and warm-ups because it is a physical job. They want to make sure you don't pull anything. And then they assign you to a workstation and get you going. So it is a process, okay? You show up at 2:55 for a 3 p.m. shift. You're going to be in line to get a badge. You may not get in right away. We're probably not going to get in right away anyway because of the process and the way it's kind of structured. However, if you're there before the shift time, you checked in with us. No matter what time you get in and get to work, we have you starting at that start time, okay? So we make sure that they ask us to have people there at 3 o'clock. If they can't get you in until 3:30, it's not our fault, right? You're gonna get paid since 3 o'clock. So we work with you on that. We also staff 2 other locations. Well, the bulk of them will be here. That's the overflow parking, once again here. That's the kiosk to get in. So this is their primary overflow location. Whatever freight they can't handle at LAX will get overflowed here to Hawthorne. During the day, this is a local distribution facility. After packages have been sorted, they come here, and then they get delivered in the morning to the home or business, its final destination. At night, LAX takes it over and uses it as a sort facility. We have 3 shifts here a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, through the rest of the year. Shifts start at 8:30, go until about 2 a.m., in and around there, depending on how much freight there is. So this is the second busiest location, but understand we only have 3 shifts a week at this location, okay? Security is a little bit different. You still have to have your ID. You still can't have your cell phones and those things at the workstations. You will badge in and get badged, but this is not airport adjacent, so security is a little bit different here. We also have shifts at Inglewood. We had shifts Monday and Tuesday there. We won't have a shift there until the 17th and 18th, and then the 21st and 22nd. Those are the only shifts we have at Inglewood right now. This is their 3rd level overflow. Can't handle it at LAX, can't handle it at Hawthorne. It's rolled over here. Once again, this is a local distribution facility during the day. At night, LAX takes it over and does initial sorts there. That's what peak looks like. Boxes after boxes, after boxes, after boxes. The shift doesn't end until all the boxes are gone, okay? FedEx tries to do a really good job of scheduling the amount of freight that's coming in, the amount of people that they need on that shift to try and get through it in the allotted amount of time. They're not perfect. Sometimes it goes a little shorter, sometimes it goes a little longer. So we've had our shift scheduled to end at 12 midnight, go till 2 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes they go to 11:30, okay? Generally they've been going a little bit longer, but that will be the case moving forward. These are the conveyors at LAX. These are moving. So you'll see the boxes get so backed up that they start to fall off the conveyor, which is why you're required to wear steel toe or composite toe safety shoes. You get a 75-pound package dropping from 3 feet on your toe.
It's broke.
We want you walking out with as many digits as you walked in with. Okay? We had a gentleman drop a very large container on his foot. Thankfully, he had his safety shoes on. His toe was fine. He had a bit of a limp. He went home that night, returned the next night. He was good. But that's why we have the safety shoes. Okay? Some of the packages are really small, can weigh next to nothing. Some of the packages are really large. Okay, it can be 75 pounds plus. Asked the young lady what she was loading the other night. She said, man, we were unloading tires and transmissions.
Wow.
So they can be very large, they can be very small. Regardless, you're going to be doing a repetitive task for a duration that you're not used to, in a manner that you're not used to, with a weight that you're not used to. Okay? It's like starting a new workout. You will get sore. Everybody says it, man, you were kidding me. Told me I was going to be sore. I was sore the next day. Okay? We'll talk about some of those things and how to keep that from getting over the top so you can still go to work. But chances are you're going to be sore the first day, probably going to be sore the second day, you may even be sore the third day.
About the whole first week.
Yeah. And then your body will adjust. I mean, FedEx calls its employees industrial athletes for this reason. They understand the physical demands it takes to win the game, finish the job, get the job done. Okay? Too fast. Wrong way. So this is what Hawthorne and Inglewood look more like. Most of our folks are loading trucks. They're not FedEx trucks usually. They have to rent them because they need so many of them. So there's a small sort going on here. Freight comes down the line, and each one of these individuals are looking for a destination code. They see that destination code, they pull that off the truck. There's usually 3 people to a truck. One person is pulling off the belt. The other 2 are loading. So you have kind of a fireman's carry going on. This person hands it to the other person. They load it as tightly as they can in that truck. They're trying to pack as much freight in that truck as possible. Next person comes back, gets the next one, and they keep rotating till that truck is full. Okay? Same thing's going on here, just off of this belt. This is a normal day at LAX. This is LAX. Okay? During peak, it's 3 times as much freight. These things get stacked to the ceiling. Both belts are going, boxes are falling all over the ground. It gets crazy. Okay? She is looking for her destination code or codes. She sees that code, she picks it up, she puts it in the secondary sort. Not rocket science, very straightforward. Stay to the task at hand, follow directions. Your work ethic will get you through. Okay? But sometimes, like I said, it seems like the boxes are never going to end. If you miss a box, it goes around just like the carousel at the airport, comes back around again. Right? There's normally multiple individuals with a destination code, so if you miss it the first time, someone else down the line is going to probably pick it up. If both of you miss it, it's going to come back around. You'll get another shot at it. Okay? So having a positive attitude is key. We remind everyone that during this time of year, these are probably, packages mean a little bit more, okay? And what I mean by that is regardless of your faith, what you believe, what you celebrate this time of year, there's probably somebody's wish, hope, dream in all of those packages right now. So while we're out there trying to earn a paycheck for ourselves so we can provide for ourselves and our families and what we need during this time of year, we're also able to make sure that little Joey, little Anna get what they want so that they can have a good holiday this year.
Santa's little helpers.
Yeah. I mean, our community, our neighbors, our family, we help make sure that they get their freight so they can have a good holiday. So If that's what you need to hold on to get to the end of your shift, utilize it. Okay, because it does mean a little bit more this time of year. We ask that you be patient. We have folks every year that want to impress for FedEx, which is cool. And they get out there first day, moving boxes, and we get the call in the morning.
Can't
My
come
son's
up.
holding my phone because I can't lift my arms. I can't come into work today. Okay, so be patient, work at the pace of those around you. Find the folks in blue, work to that pace. We want you working just as hard at the end of your shift as you do at the beginning of your shift. Okay? If you're working too slow, the leads will let you know. And they'll work with you to pick up the pace and how to be more efficient in doing that. Okay? If you're working too fast, they will try to let you know because they want you to come back the next day. Okay? So be patient, take cues from those folks around you. You should be fine. So she's loading here. This is an incline. On the other side of this, these folks are receiving that freight, and then they're taking that freight and they're putting it into those big, shiny metal containers, which they call stringers, or they're being put into trucks directly. Okay, those stringers get put on bigger trucks, and then they get sent out to secondary sort locations, Ventura, Riverside, Long Beach, Mission Viejo. They get sorted again, put on those FedEx trucks for final delivery to homes or businesses. Okay? It is a warehouse environment. It's hot outside, it's hot inside. It's cold outside, it's cold inside. Okay? Because of that, we recommend you wear layers. Short sleeve, long sleeve, hoodie, sweater, whatever you want on the outside, beanies, okay? If you're working near the door and it's cold, keep your layers on. If you're working inside of one of these containers, packing it, and it's hot, you can take some layers off, keep yourself comfortable, okay? A lot of people lose 5 to 10 pounds during peak season just because of the extra physical exertion. A lot of people ask, do we get FedEx Blues? We do not get FedEx Blues. This is how they can tell a full-time employee from a contract employee, okay? Dress code is pretty simple. Steel toe or composite toe boots, safety shoes, doesn't matter as long as they're steel toe or composite toe. Leggings that cover your entire legs. Pants, sweats as long as they're not overly baggy. Tights, compression pants, what have you. Just so that your legs are covered in case something falls off the conveyor, you've got a layer of protection. Okay? Short sleeve, long sleeve, hoodie, does not matter as long as it's not overly baggy. Beanies are okay. If they've got a short brim, it's okay. They ask that you not wear a hat unless it says FedEx on it. Just their little way of representing, okay? Jeans, pants cannot have holes or rips no matter how fashionable they look, okay? And the reason why is this. You're working next to a conveyor and your ripped jeans get snagged on the belt. And there you go, your jeans and or you in your jeans. Okay? Same with baggy sweaters, right? They can call them jeans. If you've got really long hair, they're gonna ask you to put it back, put it in your shirt. If it's really long, okay, for safety concerns, make sure that nothing gets caught in the equipment. You all are grown folks, so we offer suggestions, okay? We had a gentleman not follow our suggestions. He passed out a couple weeks ago on the shift. Okay, overexerted himself, got dehydrated, got a little woozy, went outside to catch some fresh air. When he hit the cold air, hit the ground. Okay? Once again, FedEx deems their employees industrial athletes. I coach my son's sports teams. I tell them all the same thing. You hydrate before the game. So that during the game, your hydration levels come down. You rehydrate at break, you keep yourself in peak state. Okay, our gentleman the other night came in here, worked himself to a state of dehydration. Dehydration causes headaches, nausea, vomiting, and you can pass out. He did all four. Okay? He also didn't eat before his shift. They do have vending machines at the facility. However, if you're on a shift of 300 people and you're 63rd in line for the vending machine, by the time you get to the front, there may not be very much, or you may not get to the front before the break's over. So as a best practice, we recommend bringing in snacks if you're that type of person who needs snacks to keep your finely tuned body like mine going. You can bring in your lunch. You can bring in a lunch pail, coolers, snacks, water, Gatorade, Monsters, whatever you need to get through the shift. You can bring that in as well in a bag or a backpack and have that with you out by the workstation.
That'll work.
Once you get into the facility, the leads will take you in. You will go through a series of basically airport screening. Once again, the facility is TSA governed, so it looks just like an airport when you get in. You go through metal detectors and baggage screeners on the way in and on the way out of the facility each night or during your break. Okay? You do need a valid government-issued photo ID. We had a young lady the other night. She left her ID at home. She had her school ID. It's not government issued. She couldn't get in the facility. Okay? Yeah. It has to be valid.
Passports?
Passports will work. Yeah. Has to be valid. So if your passport ID license expired December 1st, you could work Monday. You cannot work Tuesday or any day after. And bro, I was here last night. You checked me in as not a valid form of ID. The security guards want to keep their jobs during the holidays too. Okay? So make sure it's valid. Make sure you have it on you at all times. The TSA does come in and audit the facility. So they may ask you for your badge number, your ID. They'll validate that against the security roster that we've sent over. Everything's good. Thank you, sir or ma'am. Go back to work, and they do the same with full-time employees as well. Okay? Cell phones are not allowed in the facility past security. Smartwatches are not allowed in the facility past security. You are allowed one ring, an analog or digital watch. No multiple rings, no bracelets, no necklaces, no anklets, if those are still in fashion, no eye rings, no nose rings, no cheek rings, no tongue studs. If it's going to set the alarm off, don't bring it in the facility. Okay? If you need your phone to call for a ride after the shift, they do provide lockers outside of security. Okay? They are small lockers. It's a cube, about that big, smaller than a shoebox. Enough for a phone, wallet, keys. Maybe you could stuff in a small fanny pack. Definitely not a purse, definitely not a backpack. Okay? You need to bring your own lock to utilize those lockers. Put your stuff in, put your lock on, you go to work, you come out, take your lock off, take it with you, take your stuff out, because they do cut locks at the end of the night. I don't know what they do with the stuff inside, I don't want to know. Okay, so just take it with you, they're there for shift use only. Steel-toe boots. So if you have composite toe boots, those will not set off the metal detectors. You can walk right through with those. If you have steel-toe boots, they will set off the detectors. So those need to be taken off, put on the belt screener, just like at the airport. You walk through, you boot up on the other side. A lot of folks will wear slides or their street shoes, put their boots on the belt, boot up when they get inside. What most people do is just leave them loose. Walk in, pop them off, put them on the belt, walk through, boot up on the other side. Okay? No mobile phones or smartwatches. That one's highlighted because it's new. Security gave us a briefing on it, and they said we can't tell the difference between an Apple Watch, an Android Watch, a Fitbit. So if it looks smart, we act dumb, and we ask you to put it in your car or put it in your locker.
That's good.
If for whatever reason you have to go out to your car, you got to get back in line for security. Okay, which is why we go through this stuff with you now, to avoid headaches when we get there. Okay. No jewelry, no loose clothing, a padlock for your locker if you need one, and a security vest will be provided for you. This is yes, this is no. Except for these, you can have a backpack in it as long as it doesn't have any of the prohibited items inside. Okay, because it will go through the screener, they will catch that. A lot of people will bring a lanyard, they'll have their ID in it, they'll put their keys in it or on it, they can put it inside their shirt or sweater, they're good to go. You can have your keys, your wallet on you. You can have personal items in your backpack as long as none of them are prohibited. Okay? Cell phones include chargers, the little earbuds. None of those things can go inside the facility. Okay? Remember, this is airport level security. No knives, no tasers, no pepper spray or mace. We had a young lady who forgot she had pepper spray at the bottom of her purse. It was actually mace at the bottom of her purse, and walked through the screeners with it. It was a prohibited item. She was banned from the facility and I asked to come back. So, don't have it on you walking through the scanners. Leave it outside. No wine. No prohibited items there. Now we have a test. Can you bring in a cell phone?
Nope.
No. Lunch cooler?
Yes.
Yes. Jewelry?
No.
No. When should you bring your ID?
Yes.
Every day. Every day. We haven't had an issue with this, but FedEx wants us to make a mention of it because they've had issues in the past. People will wear their street shoes in, put their belt on the screener, boot up, and then have the great idea that they'll swap out to their comfies at break or at lunch. Okay? The VP of Operations at this facility is also the West Coast Regional Lead for Health and Safety for all FedEx. So safety is huge. Okay? Security does boot checks on the way in. If it looks questionable, they'll check. Leads do boot checks during the shift. Okay? If it looks questionable, they will check. We actually have one manager on the graveyard. He comes, everybody lines up in security. He comes by and checks everyone's boots. And if you don't have steel toes on or composite toe, you get sent home. Okay? So make sure you wear your boots. Has anybody ever had a boot check done before?
Yeah.
Have you had a boot check done before? My old manager used to boot check like this. You jumped, you screamed, you yelled, you didn't have steel toes on. Okay? Normally they'll press or they'll stat, but you get an old school manager, they might check you.
Old school way.
Yeah. Then you walk out with a limp because you don't have steel toes on.
And the attitude.
Yeah, exactly. Scheduling is a little different depending on location. So your recruiters will go over scheduling with you. But I'll go over some of the general shifts. At LAX, the first shift is usually at 3 p.m. We've got a 6:30 to midnight shift and an 8 o'clock to midnight shift. And then we've got a 1:30, and then it'll rotate between a 2 p.m. and a 3 p.m. graveyard shift as well. Okay? On the weekends, we got a 3 to midnight shift now. They've extended it a little bit, and you'll see here potential start times. Potential because we're at the mercy of planes and weather. So if there's tornadoes and dust storms in Texas, they may push start time back a little bit. Our 3 p.m. start this week is moving to 3:30 on Thursday and 4 o'clock on Friday. Okay, so they will vary those times a little bit, and we'll talk to you about how we go about scheduling and keeping you in the know on those things as well. A lot of times you all will know before we know, because if there's a change for the next day while you're stretching and warming up, the leads will call it out. And remember, tomorrow we're coming in at 3:30 instead of 3. Oh, hey, remember tomorrow again, we're coming in at 4 instead of 3:30. Okay? So a lot of times you'll know before even we know. This week, we know they plan in advance. Shift times end when the freight is gone. So if you have a hard stop time, may not be the right position for you.